And this is a controversial opinion, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This is possibly the worst top 4 I've ever seen in my life. Hi everyone, my name's Demetri and welcome back to DemetriTube, The Bachelor. Night 7. Let's talk about it. As always, if you're enjoying my videos, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm a growing YouTuber and the like subscribes really help me out. So let's just go ahead and dive into the video. I have an accounting exam later this week, so we gotta dive in and get started. This week, we are in Jasper, Canada, and it is absolutely gorgeous and very stunning. If you've been to Jasper, Canada, let me know below in the comments. I don't know if this is a popular destination, but it's very beautiful. During the intro, we get a few shots of Joey riding a motorcycle, and he's definitely serving Justin Bobby teas. And if you know, you know. And that is just so awesome that Joey knows how to ride a motorcycle. I like how we're seeing more sides to him, and I wish we could get a more in-depth glance at him, but this is all we got. And the last thing I want to say about the intro is, so there's a moment where Joey is playing some tennis with Jesse Palmer, and I love how they play tennis together and just have a conversation. It feels just so natural. On so many other seasons, Jesse Palmer will just sit with the lead and just have a conversation, and it feels so forced. But like watching Joey and him play tennis and then talk about the show, it just feels very natural. And one more thing I want to say about the intro, but it kind of doesn't really happen in the intro. So throughout the dates, we get clips of the other contestants, and both Maria and Jen are spiraling pretty much the whole episode. Now we're diving into the one-on-one with Daisy, and for the date, she wears like a long sleeve black top. I think it was a turtleneck as well, and she pairs it with some mom jeans. And this outfit just was not it for me. And yes, I get it. You're going to ride ponies, so you really can't like throw on a mini dress. But at this point in the game, I was expecting more. So for the date, Joey and Daisy ride ponies through the trails in Jasper, Canada. And then they top off the date with a hot tub. And I know ABC always does the hot tub. They love doing the traveling hot tub on this show. But the hot tub for this date was just so unnecessary. But in ABC's defense, I will say, if you are on this date and it's like kind of cold and you have this backdrop with beautiful scenery and you had an opportunity to get into a hot tub with your date, that actually would be pretty cool. The problem is we've just seen this so many times, it's a little tired at this point. During the day portion, Daisy and Joey don't really say much. The only thing I want to mention is Daisy says she wants unconditional love, and Joey responds and says he wants a love where he cannot be without them. And then after that, we get a confessional from Daisy, and she says,
I'm not gonna say I'm in love with you, and I'm not.
This confessional was just so jarring for me. We just saw this beautiful romantic date, and then we cut to a confessional, and Daisy's like, I'm not in love with that man. I'm not. Like, that was crazy. And if Daisy's feelings just aren't there, that's fine. But as a viewer watching that, it was just so jarring to watch. And then we move on to the night portion of the date, and I really was not feeling Daisy's outfit here either. I appreciate the risk, but she looks like she manages an art gallery in the Lower East Side. During the date, Daisy says, I really like you, but am I there yet? No, but I could see myself getting there. And Joey responds back, I'm gonna take the risk, and he ends up giving Daisy a rose. And then after that, they go ice skating, and like, now that I think about it, this honestly is one of the most romantic dates I have seen on this show in a while. Like, I would have loved to do this date, like riding through the trails in Jasper, going to a hot tub, having a dinner date, and then going ice skating. That's actually like an amazing date. So I am not excited that Daisy is going to hometowns, but also at the same time, I'm not surprised. And there's just a few things I want to mention about Daisy and Joey. So when Daisy said, I really like you, but am I there yet? No. Like, Daisy really could have presented that better. Like, I understand what Daisy was trying to get across, and I understand she was opening up to Joey and trying to be real with him, but the way she presented it, she just sounded so unserious. Next, Joey Joey is a talker. He knows how to talk to women, and he pretty much always knows the right thing to say. Like, I think we're possibly gonna go throughout this entire season with no flubs. But after watching this episode, I definitely question his decision-making skills, but we're gonna talk more about that later. Now we're moving on to the group date, and for the group date, the contestants learn to be lumberjacks or lumberjills, and I'm just tired. So earlier this season, we had a gladiator date where the women can learn to be gladiators, and now we're having a date where the women can learn to be lumberjacks. And yes, I agree, women can do everything, but also at the same time, the purpose of this show is to find love and get married. Like, all of these women want to get married and be wives. So why are we giving them these dates that are very masculine and like typically masculine? Like, you can give them a girly date. Like, that's not a problem. And honestly, I could just be thinking too deeply about this, but I feel like the messaging is just confusing. Like, let's take a bunch of women who want to be wives and let's teach them how to be lumberjacks. Next, if you made it this far in the video, please go ahead and pound that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Anywho, moving on. So for the date, they do a log roll, they do a log flip, and they chug elk milk. And this date really should have been on The Bachelorette. Like, this date would have been perfect for The Bachelorette. Like, I would have preferred to watch guys do this than these contestants, but here we are. And Maria is spiraling during the date because she virtually does not get much time to connect with Joey. So then we move on to the night portion of the date, and I really liked Joey's sweater. It was definitely giving Mr. Rogers tease. And I also liked Maria's outfit, but I will say it was a little scandalous. So just two things I want to mention about the night portion. So Jen has a one-on-one with Joey, and she says she's worried about hometowns because it could be a culture clash due to her being Vietnamese, I believe, and her American side. And she also mentions that she's never brought a man home, which I don't think is unusual because I think she's like 23. After that, we get a one-on-one with Kelsey T, and she tells Joey that her feelings are getting deeper and deeper. And she also says, it's tough with other contestants, but I've made peace with the situation. And I absolutely love that she said that. That was just so grown. As you know, a lot of times on this show, we'll dig into the insecurities of the women. But when it comes to Kelsey T, she's very much like, yeah, it's tough with the other contestants, but I'm at peace with the situation. Basically like, this is what it is. I can either sink or swim, and I'm choosing to swim. After that, we get a one-on-one with Maria, and she says it would be tough to bring him home because there are other people in the picture and because Joey has other contestants. And Joey responds,
but I also have a connection with you. You always discredit what we have.
This has gotten the best of me, and I don't know if I can get through this.
My biggest fear in all of this is not only that this may not work, but also the right person can't see themselves doing this.
After that, Joey tells Maria, I'm not gonna force it. The logic makes sense, but his heart doesn't. After that, Maria walks off and she pulls out all the dramatics. Mama is giving us a show. And after that, Maria eventually walks back and she tells Joey, you know, that may have been an overreaction. And the situation got the best of her. And y'all, that was just so funny to me. She pulled out all the dramatics and then immediately walked back. Sorry, I think I overreacted. And then Joey responds to her, if you felt the way I felt, you wouldn't try to run like this. And then at the end of the night portion of the group date, nobody gets the group date rose. So just a few things I want to say about this. First, I think Joey should have given out a rose during this group date because I do think it would have caused a lot of drama if he did. Next, Joey is a talker. Like how I said earlier in this review, this man knows how to talk to women. When he told Maria, but I also have a connection with you, you always discredit what we have, I gagged. Like, I audibly gagged when he said that. This man knew exactly what to tell her to get her to stay. But the one read that I do have about Joey is that he always has the right things to say, but I'm not necessarily seeing emotions behind it. Like, when he was telling Maria all of this, the whole situation came across as very cold to me. And yes, I understand he was trying to stay as calm as possible, but I also was expecting to see more emotion from him over Maria possibly leaving. And sorry, I have another read about Joey during this moment. He also says, if you felt the way I felt, you wouldn't try to run like this. And that was just pure Gemini. Like, bruh, you have options and she doesn't. At the end of the day, Joey, if you do not choose Maria, you have some backup options. Whereas Maria, if she doesn't get chosen, she's gonna hop in that Uber XL and start crying, and she's gonna have to find a man somewhere else. So in that sense, Maria has more to lose. But for Joey to say, if you felt the way I felt, you wouldn't try to run like this. In that sense, to me, there's more at stake for Maria, because Maria does not have multiple options where she's getting feelings with all of them. Like, Joey, if it doesn't work out with you, she's gonna go brokenhearted with possibly no backups. And the last thing I want to say about this situation, let me know below in the comments, but what did you think about Maria doing all of this? So for me, I don't think Maria doing all of this will work in her favor, because now in the back of Joey's head, he's worried that she's not going to stay. And we saw the foreshadowing from the start of the season. Maybe he does pick her and she doesn't stay, and Joey's biggest fear becomes realized. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. After that, we move on to a one-on-one with Kelsey A. So Kelsey A and Joey go souvenir shopping, and then they talk to a typical Canadian, and he tells them about the polar bear plunge, and they end up doing the polar bear plunge, and after that they hop into a sauna. And sidebar, a lot of the male fitfluencers that also do motivational talks on social media, they love these saunas, and I don't think these saunas are like very expensive to get. But the only thing I'd be worried about is that if you have a sauna, I would not put it too close to the house, because saunas can definitely like catch on fire. Like I would be worried about that. Anyways, after that, we move on to the night portion of the day, and I'm guessing Kelsey A's outfit was not very good because I don't remember it and I didn't write any notes about it. And they don't really say much on the date, but Kelsey A ends up getting the rose. And when it comes to Kelsey A and Joey's connection, I still feel like Kelsey A likes Joey way more than he likes her. Also, I wanted Kelsey A to make it to hometowns mainly because of her hot dad, which I know y'all peeped him in the previews. But I also expected one more person I liked to make top 4, and that didn't happen. Wait, backtrack. Actually, there is another person I'd like to make top 4, but we're gonna talk about that shortly. After that, we move on to the cocktail party. And yep, it's that time outfit of the episode. For this week's outfit of the episode, I'm giving it to Maria for her cocktail party and rose ceremony dress. Maria is wearing this beautiful long gown, I believe it's green, and she is on fire tonight. This color looks so good against her skin, and the contrast with her dark hair looks good as well. And not only that, the body is bodying, and this dress makes her chest look amazing. And also the color of this dress is very unique. I feel like we do not see this color often, but also my color blindness is acting up a little bit too. So for that, I gave Maria outfit of the episode. And honorable mention to Kelsey T's rose ceremony dress. Hers was cute as well. It was simple, but it was cute. So we're heading into the cocktail party, and Jesse Palmer shows up, which means Joey was basically like, the cocktail party. We're gonna go straight into the rose ceremony. And this was very much a missed opportunity. This is the first time in a while that I do feel like the contestants were robbed. They really should have had a cocktail party. And like, Joey does not owe the contestants a cocktail party. He does not owe them any more conversations. But also at the same time, I felt like some of the contestants who went home deserved one more conversation or one more opportunity with him, and they didn't get it. And don't get me wrong, I understand why Joey would do this. Having another cocktail party and having more conversations possibly could have clouded his judgment, and he would have made a last spur of the moment decision change, which he would regret later. So I totally understand skipping the cocktail party. But then at the beginning of the rose ceremony, he pulls Maria for a conversation. And I'm like, at that point, you should have just had the cocktail party. And I don't know if y'all clocked this, but when Joey pulled Maria, we got a moment close up with Rachel, and she says, we should have just had the cocktail party or something. And y'all know I do not with Rachel, but in that moment, I did agree with her. Like, at that point, you should have just had the cocktail party. So Joey asks Maria if she's confident about whether or not she wants to stay. Maria responds and says that the insecurity got the best of her, but she does want to stay in this competition. So then we move on to the rose ceremony, and our top 4 is Rachel, Maria, Daisy, and Kelsey A. And Rachel making top 4 was the gag. So not only was putting Rachel in top 4 a waste, I was very much shocked she made top 4 because we really haven't seen that many moments of Rachel and him together that were very deep since like that wedding date in like week 2 or 3. And also having Maria and Rachel in top 4 was a loss for all of us because now that means one of them will be at the tell-all and one of them will not be at the tell-all, and we'll just have to wait and see next week because I think if you make top 3, you're not going to be at the women tell-all. And let's be real, y'all. Maria is like 70% of the women tell-all this season. So I really would like to see her there. But since she's made it this far, I will say I think she is going to Fantasy Suites. And big pet peeve of mine, they really need to reformat this show. I would rather them do the women tell all at the end after everything is said and done, and also so everyone could be there. I don't know why they do it before Fantasy Suites, because when they do it that way, the top 3 contestants cannot make it, and I hate that they do it that way. And let me talk about the contestants that got sent home real quick. Kelsey T and Jen both got sent home. Kelsey T very much looked like she was in a state of shock when she got in that Uber XL. Like, I truly think she was ready to go to hometowns, and Joey blindsided her. Next, Jen getting sent home was also a really big gag for me. Since Jen has already made it this far, I figured that she was going to hometowns, but she didn't make the cut, and I was very surprised. And again, both Kelsey T and Jen getting sent home was a missed opportunity because both of them sounded like their families were possibly dysfunctional. I prefer when the lead picks dysfunctional families. Like, that's the TV I want to see. So not picking them for top 4 was a missed opportunity. And this is a controversial opinion, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is possibly the worst top 4 I've ever seen in my life. So don't get me wrong. All of the women in the top 4 are great, but I very much question Joey's decision making. First, as y'all know, Rachel should not be here. Not only was she fraternizing with the villain, but we've also seen enough moments with her that it's clear she's a terrible pick. Next, I like Kelsey A, and I'm so excited we're gonna get to see more of her hot dad, but I really feel like she's gonna get runner-up on this. So this is just my opinion, and I've said this before on reviews of previous seasons. So if you're the Bachelor, I feel like you should pick a contestant that is crazy about you. Pick a contestant that is falling for you, wants to be with you, and there is no hesitation in it. Like, when we have a Bachelor season, I feel like the Bachelor should pick a contestant like that. But Joey got rid of Kelsey T, who was crazy about him, and she also got rid of Jen, who I feel like really liked him. Like, I'm not gonna say she was crazy about him, but Jen had very strong feelings for him. And I'm glad he chose Kelsey A. Like how I said earlier, I feel like Kelsey A likes Joey more than he likes her, and I do think that's a good pick because, again, I think you should pick someone who's crazy about you. But the other contestants are not crazy about him. Maria almost left the show on this episode, and Daisy at the table was like, I really like you, but I'm not there yet. And don't get me wrong, I do think Maria has feelings for him, but the fact that she almost left the show is really not a good sign, and because of that, I don't think he should choose her. So ultimately, for my final prediction, I think Joey will pick Daisy, and I think Kelsey A is going to be the runner-up. The only thing that may stop that is if something insane happens during Fantasy Suites with Maria, but we'll just have to wait and see. And keep in mind, that's my prediction of who I think Joey will pick, but Joey should have chosen Kelsey T or Lexi, but they're both off the show now. And when it comes to Maria, I understand a lot of you are Maria stans, but I just do not think she's gonna win. I would be genuinely shocked if she does win. And going even further than that, if she does win, they're not going to stay together. I think they would stay together for like 9 months to a year max. I think she's just way too feisty for him. Like, it'll be fun for like 9 months, but after that, Joey will be over that shit. And lastly, before we go, let's take a quick look at the stars and see what they think. So Daisy is a Virgo, Maria is a Virgo, Kelsey A is an Aries, and Rachel is an Aquarius. So according to the stars, Joey should pick Rachel because Rachel is an Aquarius, and an Aquarius Gemini match is actually a pretty good match. But we've all watched the show. All of us are praying that he does not pick her. And then Daisy and Maria are both Virgos. A Virgo Gemini match is pretty terrible. And then Kelsey A is an Aries, and Aries Gemini is very middle of the road. And that is the end of the episode and the end of this review. Let me know your predictions in the comments, please. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.